In the content creation world,
Sneak attack.
not answering comments is considered especially heinous. But sneaking up on a content creator and asking him questions without giving him time to prepare is just as bad.
We're currently looking for land, and I'm curious if your property is in a POA or HOA. Seems like it's something we should avoid with the regulations and restrictions some of them usually have.
Yeah, it sort of depends on the actual HOA, POA themselves. Like, our property is actually in a property owners association, and the CCNRs here, which is like the covenants, the agreement that you make, the only power the HOA has is to maintain the roads going in and out. So I'm not bothered by that. They can't tell me I can't have a junkyard down at the bottom of the hill, or what color to paint my house, or whether or not I can mow the lawn on Saturday morning at 2:00 a.m. The only power they have is to maintain the roads in and out. We pay like $80 a year for that, and I'm totally okay with that, considering we could very easily get snowed in, or a storm could come and wash out the roads, and it's their responsibility to take care of that. So you just have to really check into the particular HOA, POA. So some of them are actually really beneficial. Other ones are frickin' nightmares. So, but anyway.
Thanks. Sneak attack. Question. Had you not lost your jobs, would you have stayed in the city, or was a homestead something you guys always had in the back of your mind? And now that you have done it, are you wishing you had done it sooner?
That's a good question. So we never really even heard the word homestead as far as like a lifestyle goes. You know, I've heard like the Homestead Act or whatever. But really, we were trying to solve the problem of getting some space between us and our neighbors, because I was doing not so well at that time. And honestly, I was kind of losing it. So being able to put some space between us and neighbors was a good way to go. Losing the job just kind of compounded the stress. And I was an electrician. I probably could have found another job. But it was like, that was the best solution I could ever come up with before. And if my best solutions wound me up in the exact situation that I didn't want to be in, then perhaps doing something other than what the conventional wisdom would say would be the right thing to do was going to be more effective at creating a life that we wanted, you know, rather than kind of being stuck to a life that we didn't want. So had I known about this earlier, would I have wanted to come out here earlier? I don't know. There was a kind of a perfect storm of things that occurred that led us to this point. So who's to say that changing any one of those wouldn't have had a negative outcome, you know? So it's hard to say. I don't really look back and wish I had done something different, because I'm generally pretty happy with where we are. And, you know, got the butterfly effect. If I were to go back in time and change something, how do I know that present time would look like it does? So
cool. Okay, thanks.
Yep.
Sneak attack.
Can we just schedule a time to do this?
Nope. You're too busy. It won't happen.
Okay.
Question. Do you sell the information on making the lotion? Which I absolutely loved, by the way.
Oh, the diatomaceous earth lotion.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't know. Here, this is how you make it. You do 1 part beeswax, 1 part low grease oil. So like coconut oil it's like it makes you shiny, you know. So I would go with something that has less of that sort of sheen to it. So 1 part that oil, and then you use 1/10 part colloidal silver, 1/10 part by volume food grade diatomaceous earth, and mix it all up. Make your emulsion, you know, with the oil and beeswax. So you melt the beeswax into the oil and stir it up, and then the and then the colloidal silver in it will be your your water, and then the diatomaceous earth kind of gives it more of a flat sort of a finish when it goes on your skin, and it's super good for your skin in a bunch of different ways. But I don't sell it because back on Facebook when we used to sell it, the videos would always get taken down for false information because of the colloidal silver. So whatever, we had great experiences with it, and a lot of other people do too. So but there's just one dude that got turned into a human Smurf and went on Oprah. So I guess that's all it takes for Snopes to be like, false. Frickin' Smurfs.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So anyway, there you go. You can put the check in the mail.
Great. Bye. One more question. Will you make it again soon for me, please?
Sure.
You all heard it here, folks. Sneak attack, sneak attack. Question.
Sometimes I wish you weren't so cute.
No, you don't. How did you pick the location? That being of our property.
Cari looked at the pictures and she's like, that's beautiful. And then when I found out where it was, I had a connection to the area from when I was a little kid. My aunt and uncle owned a houseboat on a lake around here, and they used to bring their water skiing boat up in the summers, and we would come up here, and this is where I learned how to water ski. So I was like, between those two factors, seems like the perfect place. Now, we love our property. We love the views and everything else. Had I known then what I know now, which I exclusively make videos about, I probably would have opted for someplace with a less deep water table. But aside from that, we really love it here. We got just the right amount of snow in the winter for us to feel like, oh, it's winter. Just the right amount of rain. You know, summers aren't too bad. There's about a 2-week period where it's over 100 degrees. That's pretty rough. But for the rest of the time, it's you know, low 90s, early 80s. I remember having my hair done in the early 80s.
Oh, the neon was amazing.
Oh my gosh, the pink, the headbands,
The leotards,
the original increase in popularity of sweatsuits. Yeah. So I mean, this area is perfect for us. I think the only thing that would make us go somewhere else would be the opportunity to develop a much bigger property. So initially we got about 3 acres. That was our first property, and then we got the property next to us, which is another 3.5. It comes out to just shy of 7 acres total. So yeah, that's how we picked it. Pictures, Google satellite images, Yeah, I'd say we kind of lucked out. It's pretty beautiful here.
I like it.
Plus, we have so many rocks, you know. I'm not going to say that, that we're affluent or anything, but we're definitely rock rich. So, Anyway, I'm doing stuff.
Thanks for your time.
You're welcome. I can hear you coming, and as far as distractions go, you're probably my favorite, so.
Sneak attack. Here's an easy one for you. Really quick.
Yeah.
What internet do you use?
We use Starlink. It's actually great. It's faster than the internet we had when we lived in the city, and we live in the literal center of nowhere. So it's pretty great. And if we just picked up and left tomorrow, we could take it with us. I will say it's a little pricey, but because we make videos and the small business that I have relies on uploading and downloading very big files, it's still probably the cheapest option for us to be able to do that effectively. So, yeah, Starlink.
Boom. I was trying to be really quiet. Question.
Mm-hmm.
What happened to your build you were doing, brother?
Which one? Gosh. Okay, my experience as a homesteader has taught me that what all homesteads have in common is unfinished projects. So, I assume you're talking about the skid steer. Making progress on it. If you saw the last episode of Rock Rich, I got the loader arms worked on, even though the entire universe was working against us to try and prevent that from occurring. But in the next episode, I'm building the track system because I'm not going to tell you too much, no spoilers, but I got some tracks to deal with. So this is kind of like a mock-up of how things are going to work, and then I'm going to build a sled down here that'll work that way. I don't want to tell you too much about it, but anyway, I'm still making progress on it, and one of the main reasons that we had to take some time off of it was, one, I had gotten injured with my broken rib, and I didn't want to lift stuff. Two, it was super hot and dry, and there were fires popping up all around us, so I didn't want to be one of the people that contributed to that heightened level of danger zone. Yeah, so anyway, but we've gotten some rain, so I'm back on it and working on it. I'm thinking about calling it the Spaghetto Western.
What?
Think about it. Just think about it. Have you thought about it?
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be the Spaghetto Western.
Awesome.
I don't know. It's a working title. Anyway. But yeah, I'm just looking at it right now to figure out what I need to do next on it.
There you go.
It's quite a sight.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Sneak attack. Gorgeous thing.
Look at that.
Question. How exactly does a land owner finance work?
Owner finance?
You pay the owner of the land every month, interest.
There's a couple of ways that can actually be done. You can actually do a contract for deed with the owner directly. And then if you do something like that, I recommend like making sure you get a lawyer to draw up the paperwork and do title insurance and all of that kind of stuff, because in that in that situation, if the owner were to pass away and the property were transferred into his heirs or her heirs, then that can be problem. That can cause problems getting it out of probate and all that kind of stuff. So you got to make sure that you're all papered up in that case. With going with a platform like Billy Land or Land Limited, like they actually act as the intermediary between the landowner and the contractee. And so what I liked about Billy Land is their contract is like really like airtight. There was a time when the property values out here skyrocketed because all of the pot growers were coming in and paying ridiculous amounts of money for the properties. This property actually increased in value 10 times at one point, and we were still under contract. We hadn't fully paid it off yet. And somebody approached the owner about paying cash for it at like literally 10 times what we were under contract for. So the owner then called Billy Land. Billy Land called us and said, hey, do you want to do this? And, we'll split the profit or something like that. And I was like, no. And they're like, okay. And that was it. That was the end of it. There was no like trying to weasel their way out of the contract or anything else, because it was just kind of airtight. There was nothing the owner could do. There was nothing that that Billy Land could do. We were there. So they, is one of the reasons why I still feel comfortable making videos about them, is because I know that their integrity is on point, and they weren't trying to screw me. They could have made a ton of money. And I'm sure there was probably a way that they could have, but they decided that it was in their best interest and our best interest not to. And the funny thing is, this happened before we had a big following or anything else like that. So when I make the videos about them, it's because of that experience. So if you're a small business owner, just know that if you treat people right, you never know who's going to wind up having hundreds of thousands of followers and making videos that get millions and millions and millions of views about your company in a positive light. Treat people right.
Boom.
Boom. So that's how it works. Yeah, there is interest. There is through Billy Land, there's a bunch of different terms you can choose. You can choose to try and pay it off faster, pay a lower interest rate, or you can spread it out over a longer period of time and you pay a higher interest rate. It just depends on what is the best situation for you. But imagine buying a house and everything that goes into buying a house, but without the bank. And that's how owner financing works.
Sweet, baby.
Yep.
Well, have fun with that.
Yeah, it's like
Everything
another
is.
axle here. I think I have another one of these somewhere too. So this could be the front axle. And I think the wheel or the bolt pattern is the same as the steel rims that I have to weld teeth onto so that it grips the track. It's going to be awesome.
Cool.
Yeah. So I'm going to use the correct brake caliper and then weld teeth coming out of it as the driveline.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Have fun.
Yep. Well, hello.
That is phenomenal. Question.
Mm-hmm.
90K people watched this. How many will take action on the info? I thought that was a pretty fun question.
It is. You know what I kind of like doing is going and looking at the sites that I talk about and seeing how many properties they have available to them. So when I made the first video about Billy Land that got, I think, 7 million views on TikTok, they had like 700 properties. And like within a couple of weeks, they were down to like 200. And so that was kind of a cool feeling to know that, like, it wasn't sponsored and they didn't even know who I was. They just started getting a bunch of people saying, oh yeah, I came because of Seven Kin Homestead's video. And they're like, who the hell is Seven Kin Homestead? And then somebody tagged them in the video because I wasn't going to reach out to them or anything like that. And they sent me a private message and asked me to call. So I called in and they're like, wow, you know, that was unreal. Our all of a sudden our website just kept crashing over and over and over again. We'd upgrade it and it would crash again. And so they told me the whole story and I was like, well, you guys did really right by us over the years. So I didn't even expect to be having this conversation with you. Nor did I expect the video to take off like it did. But anyway, they're down to like 100 properties now. And I'm going to be honest, there's not a lot as far as inventory goes. That's why in the last video, I told you how to search for other platforms and how to research them and all of that kind of stuff. Because I want to make sure that you actually have an opportunity to do this. And a lot of the land on Billy Land right now is highly restricted. So, but I do know that they're working on getting new land. And when they bring new land on and it's more like the land that I talk about, it's gone within like a couple of days. So you got to just sign up for an account and get notified when something that is like what you're looking for comes up. So, and then have some powder dry so that you can take advantage of it if something that you really love comes up. So, what percentage of that 90,000 people? You know, maybe 0.01%, but you know, that's quite a few people when you think about it. And then you add up all the other videos where I've talked about them. It's approaching 10 million views total because I was looking at it the other day. So 0.01% of 10 million is a lot. So we'll see.
Cool.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah, well, you know, keep an eye out. I have some of the weirdest junk here. I just don't understand where it all came from.
Yeah, me too. Sneak attack. All right, I got a comment for you this time.
Okay.
You can tell this video is BS. That the guy is only an actor, but he did have some good information.
Well, that's very nice of you to say that you recognize the good information. I'm not going to say that I'm not a classically trained thespian or that I didn't go to the Clearwater, Florida School of Acting Tropes. I'm not going to say that I don't wake up every morning and find new and impressive ways to live dramatically. But no, I don't have an IMDb. I'm not a paid actor. I know it's hard to believe with this jawline. But yeah, no, I do this purely for the love of the craft. Thank you.
Good answer. Your check's in the mail.
I won't stand over it if I drop it.
Sneak attack. Oh.
Woman, you always complain that I make a huge mess every time I do anything and that I never clean it up. And when I go to clean it up, constantly up my butt.
Oh, you know you want to be interrupted.
That's probably true.
Question.
Yeah.
How many weeks in advance would you suggest starting the search on land or start negotiations?
there are times of the year that I would not suggest moving out to your property. I say this because I think this is going to probably determine determine an actual timeline for you, right? I don't suggest that people move out to their property at the end of fall or even the middle of fall, because in most places that's the rainy season. You're not going to get anything done. You're going to be soaking wet all the time, and you're not going to have the infrastructure set up to be comfortable in that time. You don't want to go out to your property in the middle of the winter, especially if you live in a place where it gets really cold, or the property is in a place where it gets really cold and you get a lot of snow because, well, for the same reasons. I suggest people go out to their property sometime around, end of May, early June. So you're just moving into summer. You're going to have the best weather of the year, and you'll be able to get the most setup done during that period of time. So if you were to start negotiating and that kind of stuff during those times where I wouldn't recommend you actually moving out to the property, then it'll be done and the property will be yours by the time it is a good time for you to go. That way you don't have to wait for another year to do it. So, start negotiating in fall, even winter. And then just make sure that you're ready with all of your preparations by the time late May, early June comes around. And I think that you'll find that to be the most comfortable way to do this.
Love it. Well, carry on.
Is that everything?
For now.
Are you going to continue to...
No comment.
Please continue to bother me, please.
Sneak attack. I've come back.
Bang zoom to the moon, Alice.
Question. Do you have to pay property taxes out there? You love this question.
There are two things that are certain in life: death and taxes. So yes, we have property taxes out here for our entire property. A lot of people will say things like, well, if you have to pay property taxes, then you're just renting. I don't know. When was the last time you built equity in a rental? Or could use it as collateral for a loan? Or rented it and had a deed and could paint the walls whatever color you want. It's a nonsense argument. Basically everywhere has in the United States has some form of property tax. New Jersey is the highest, and I don't know what the lowest is, but I do know that for our entire property, the taxes are $131 a year. So it's hardly worth losing any sleep over. Would I rather it not have property taxes? Sure. I'd also really enjoy the superpower of invisibility. Cari's would be teleporting, and also like the ability to fly under my own like propulsion. But chances are there's not much I can do to make that happen. So yes, we have property taxes out here.
Well done. Thought you'd enjoy that one.
I have to. I'm sure you asked that in earnest, and I may have come across a little like on you. I apologize. That was not my intention. I just get that question a lot, and it really is usually from like some sovereign citizen who's trying to convince me to buy their course on how to get allodial title, which is internet chicken bones and hobnobbery. Like people that tell you got to get the land patent and everything is just like ridiculous. It's ridiculous arguments. Yeah. Anyway, allodial title. There's 2 states in the union that recognize allodial title because it's recorded federally. And your property tax is a local tax. collected by the county for the state. Do you see? Yeah. Anyway. So that's why I may have come across short, even though I'm 6'3". Okay, I love you. Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye.
What are you doing?
It's not funny.
I got you.
I'm supposed to sneak attack you.
I got you. Sneak attack.
Sneak attack. Sneak attack. Question.
Mm-hmm.
So, what would you say in this video if your wife wasn't already able to teach music, as in you both were in the same situation work-wise? Do you think you still would have worked out? It still would have worked out, or you'd be as positive about it right now?
I would have done what I did, which was take my. If you look at the video that I made about the 3 ways to make an income from scratch living off grid, I talked more about the concept of taking your existing skills and trading them for money. And also looking at things that the community was missing so that you could add to the community, not just because there's like a gap there that you can fill, but because of the public relations aspect of taking that standpoint. I actually had somebody try to make the argument that, oh no, I shouldn't have to pay extra, to get my eyebrows done in, podunk, whatever. And it's like, first of all, I would love to see you actually go through this whole process. You're the exact type of person who I think that small, rural, local community would probably just chew up and spit out, because those are the type of people that they don't want. Like, you hear all of these horror stories about people getting chased out of town or whatever, their business, getting shut down because, they upset Grandma Mabel. That's why there's a PR aspect to it. So, if Cari didn't have the ability to be a music teacher, she has a bunch of other skills too. So those are also marketable skills that could have been traded for the money that we needed to when we first set up. Like I said, was an electrician. That was, fairly handy, but there was a bunch of stuff I didn't know. So yeah, no, we would have been fine, because we would have just kind of continued forward with the same philosophy. That was just the one that we found the quickest amount of success, and by success I mean got us the amount of money we needed to survive while we were getting everything set up. So, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. I didn't mean to scale you.
It's okay. I still got my sneak attack in. Yeah.
Are we done with this yet?
No, although I would like to say something about this question.
What? Go ahead.
About this answer.
Yeah.
Here.
Mm-hmm.
I jump in, but my hair's not done.
Oh, no.
I wasn't.
No, wait.
Aw.
You look marvelous.
Listening. I'm ready for my clothes.
You look marvelous.
I was not a music teacher before I got that job.
That's true.
I was a musician.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, knowledge. And then you just learn as much as you need to know to get in. And in rural communities, there's a lot smaller of a pool of people who are extraordinarily skilled in that thing. So, gone to school and have all their masters and bachelors and all of that. So, the most qualified person in the area could be you.
She's pretty smart. I like her.
All right, get back to work.
I keep trying. You're like, I know I'm going to hear all about all the stuff that's not finished later.
What do you mean? It's all finished. Look at it.
Look at it. It's all done. Look, that's done. Look, if I were here and I needed someplace to sit, this would already have been here.
Yeah. All right. Have fun.
Yep.
Also, I do like that as a stool.
It is. It's pretty cool because look at the little thing underneath the differential down there. It spins too. What?
It also looks very comfortable.
Super comfortable. I feel like I should take like a picture from 1850 here, like where I don't smile, like.
Done.
You don't smile in pictures. You don't smile in pictures. You look insane.
You'd have to hold that pose for so long. Your cheeks would melt away.
Yep.
All right. Bye-bye. Sneak attack. To your ear.
I hope I didn't have any schmutz in there.
I don't understand.
What?
You're hugging it, not hitting it. Oh, that's pretty sweet of you.
I'm grappling.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
This is a very personal question.
Ooh, I like those.
What's your full-time job and how much are you having left? How much are you having left over after a month after bills?
I assume you're talking about income. I don't have a full-time job. Aside from loving Cari, because that's a full-time job.
Oh, I mean, thanks.
So I have a small business where I edit podcasts for a couple of podcasts, neither of whom wish to be associated with me, nor I them. So that we'll just leave it at that. On our own personal content line, we're associated. Obviously, they pay me. But yeah, so I do that. That takes about 4 to 6 hours a week, and that covers most of the expenses. Now we have some more expenses that we didn't have before, which is like the us doing jiu-jitsu and the extra gas for driving the 40 minutes to get there 3 times a week.
The kids' classes.
The kids' classes and all of that stuff. So there's that. Cari is started at the end of last school year. She started teaching again. And so she's teaching 1 day a week out at that rural school, or was, and she's going to pick up a second day this year, which is kind of cool. And then we make our videos, which we make a little bit of income on. That's very new though. Within the last about year and a half, we had started making some money from our videos, or sponsored videos or whatever. But I don't really see any advantage to saving money, really, honestly, because money devalues at such a rate that it's like buying something that you need today, you'll get it for cheaper just with inflation than buying it next year. So,
like outside of emergencies.
Yeah, you have an emergency fund or whatever, but an emergency happens and that's gone. Like what happened last month with the vet bill and the truck and all of the other stuff that came up then. So yeah, I don't try to like have a bunch of money left over, because that's time I could spend, making another video or doing a project or building the Spaghetto Western here. Yeah, that's a good name. Or doing something that I actually want to do, rather than having to just be tied to making more money so I have some left over. So usually there's nothing left over at the end of the month. And if I need money for a project, I just work a little bit more until I have that money, and then that's enough of that. I don't really see any advantage to saving up a bunch of money, because you can't invest it well enough to to make enough to overcome inflation and inflation and debasement, and all the different ways that your savings are taxed, just stealing money out of your bank account. That's just me. Other people like to save money, and they're probably right from their viewpoint. I just that's how I look at it, at least. I don't like playing the money game. Once I have enough to do the things that I need to do and want to do, anything above that is just, it's piling up participation trophies, which I have no interest in.
So you're saying you would crush it at Monopoly because you'd buy everything you land on, and then boom.
Yeah, then I'd be a land baron, and an oil baron and a railroad baron, and I'd win that way. Yeah.
Collect 200 after passing go.
Yeah. Go to jail. Do not pass go.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Bye-bye.
I'm gonna go back to snuggling with my punching bag.
It's a nice stretch. Sneak attack. So I have one more question, and then I'll leave you alone.
You don't have to leave me alone.
Ish. That's cool. My question is, actually, do you have any? My question is, would you like to say anything?
I would actually. So, I read all of your comments. I don't always get a chance to respond to all of them, but I read every single one of them. And I love hearing all about your guys' realizations and the things that you figure out and the problems that you solve. And if any part of a video has anything to do with that, I just love that. I think it's great. I also love hearing your questions and the things that you're afraid that you would run into if you were to pursue this sort of lifestyle, because it kind of gives me a chance to fulfill the purpose of why we make these videos, which is to literally to help you to be able to create a life like this if it's what you want. That's really cool for me. So, leave in the comments like any questions that you have, and I'm going to try and encourage Cari to take out the camera and sneak attack me when I'm in the middle of doing important projects to get some of those questions answered that don't get a response from me in the comments. So, be sure to leave your comments in all the videos, not just this one. But if you have any questions, you can put them in here, and I'd be happy to read them and maybe not get back to them until the next time Cari does one of these. And that's just science.
What a trip.
Okay, I love you. Bye-bye.